Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing CHING number 71 is what we are on. Now I did mention, I think in my last CHING that I am, anything that is Christmas related, I am saving for a special Christmas only related CHING video. So you guys have to keep an eye out for that. I'm going to see how much stuff I have. I may be able to make 2 of them, but they will, come about probably soon. I'm probably going to be like really busy this month. I mean, we all are. It's the holidays are coming. My birthday is December 9th, so I'm probably going to obviously take that day off from recording and listing and everything like that and just relax. And then I am crossing my fingers that I may be getting a puppy before Christmas. So if all goes well, you guys will be the first to see her. So yeah, just keeping crossing my fingers that all goes well and that happens. But once that happens, I'm probably going to be really bogged down with training her and everything like that. So just keeping my fingers crossed that all goes well. But we are on to CHING number 71. So the first thing that I have, this one was a really good sale. This was a St. John Landskin leather jacket. St. John is a very expensive brand. I have only ever found 2 St. John items out in the wild while yard sailing and thrifting. I think both St. John items I found have come from yard sales. This jacket, I think I spent $10 on it and it sold for $189.99. So definitely, I know most people know that St. John is a, high-end designer, but some people may not. So if you ever come across it, it's definitely worth picking up. Next item I do have a couple of clothing items in this CHING. The next one is a top. It was a linen top by Tahari. This was new with tag. I got this at a church sale. I think I purchased it when they had like a fill a bag type of thing. So in the grand scheme of things, it was probably like a quarter or 50 cents. And surprisingly, that sold for $25.99. I feel like sometimes clothing doesn't sell quickly and it doesn't sell for a whole lot of money, but this one was slightly surprising to me. Next we have this was a Victorian calling cards book. So this is like very small cards that a salesperson would have used like way back in the day, going door to door selling greeting cards basically, but these were like miniature versions. It was a whole like salesman sample book basically of these old Victorian greeting cards, all different kinds. Really interesting, really unique. I had picked that up at an auction. Surprisingly, no one was really interested in it. Mind-boggling to me at the time why no one was really interested in it. So I didn't spend much at all. I would say maybe $5 at the most, and that sold for $49.99. Next item we have is a Boyd's Bears Trinket box. Now I don't pick up Boyd's Bears items like super often, but the Trinket boxes, some of them definitely can sell well. And if you find them at yard sales, typically people have them priced at like a quarter to 50 cents. So not much at all. I paid 50 cents for this. It actually might have been a quarter. And it was a Boyd's Bears pink Easter trinket box. And on the inside, it was a little chick. And that sold for $32. So that was an awesome sale. As always, you will be seeing some Department 56 Halloween items in this CHING. This first one is a Department 56 Halloween clock. This was so cute, you guys. Now I love like the weird and whimsical. And there was like a little banner above this clock that said it's Halloween time. Super cute. That sold for $26.99. Next, I have an Arm & Hammer spin brush. You saw one of these in another CHING. I had purchased 2 at a yard sale. I think they were either $4 a piece or $5 a piece. And the 2 that I had doubles of were worth more than that other one that was a whole fiasco involved in it that you saw in another CHING. But this one also sold for $49.99. Next, I have, you will see some more fairy lamps in this CHING. This one was a frosted glass fairy lamp that had kind of like a floral design on it. That sold for $17.99, and that came from the whole, like, that big auction lot of fairy lamps that I had won. Okay, we got another, I know you just saw this, but I sold 2 of them. This is the same Department 56 Halloween clock. I did sell 2 of those. And again, this one sold for $26.99. I sold a Lularoe top. This was really pretty. It was a floral with a chevron type of design. I'd say that came from a fill-a-bag rummage sale as well. And it sold for $19.99. This next item did go to a subscriber named Lisa. It was a Mary Poppins record. I picked this up at a yard sale. I got this one, and I also got a Cinderella one. The Cinderella one did sell, but the person never paid for it. So it is relisted, and no one has purchased it since relisting it. But the Mary Poppins record sold for $29.99. Next, we have a little glass goose figure. I don't remember exactly where I picked this up. It might have been a fill-a-bag rummage sale or at a yard sale. It sold for $10.99. I sold an Estee Lauder Youth Dew perfumed soap. I picked this up at a yard sale for 25 cents. It was brand new, still sealed in its wrapper inside of a little kind of travel case. So that sold for $29.99. I sold a vintage Casper record. This sold for $12.99, and I had gotten this, I don't know if there's any more of the records in this CHING, but they will be in a future CHING. I had purchased a box full of vintage, like, children's records at an auction, and that's where that came from. Next, we have a set of 3 vintage Fisher-Price Little People. These were Sesame Street characters. I think it was Bert, Ernie, and Cookie Monster. Those sold for $19.99, and they came on a tray lot that I won at the auction. Next, I have a black painted wooden cat trinket box. This was so super cute. I did get this at a yard sale. I think I might have paid $1 for it, potentially less than that, and it sold for $12.99. I got a pair of Clark's Privo sandals. I had these for a while. These weren't as popular as some of the other Clark's shoes I have sold. Those ones sold for $18.99. I also have a vintage Cabbage Patch Kids lamb costume. I did get this at a yard sale, and I think I paid like $1.75. It was a yard sale where, like, the lady always prices things like super odd, but it sold for $23.99. I feel like Cabbage Patch Kids things are becoming hot again, or at least that's what it seems like. You know, if you don't belong to any, like, Facebook, eBay related groups, I would definitely consider joining some, because people will post on there stuff that's been selling for them and just things to look out for and that kind of thing. And I feel like I've been seeing an uptick in people having Cabbage Patch Kids related sales. So you know, I had one here, and just at the last, I went to a yard sale the other day, and I picked up a Cabbage Patch Kids doll specifically for its outfit. I feel like sometimes the Cabbage Patch Kids clothing sells better than the doll, or the doll with the clothing, because it's obviously going to be cheaper to ship the clothing than the doll wearing the clothing kind of thing. So yeah, I do have one other Cabbage Patch Kids outfit that I need to list, so hopefully I get around the same price for that one. Next we have a vintage spaghetti trim lady. She came with 2 spaghetti trim pink poodle dogs. I actually sold one of these before. I feel like it wasn't that long ago, maybe closer to over the summertime. I got it the same day. It was at the same sale kind of thing. Those sold for $19.99. Next was another fairy lamp. This one was a ruby red Bohemian glass fairy lamp. This was so incredibly pretty. Again, came from the auction where I won all the fairy lamps, and this one sold for $39.99. Okay, next we got a piece of jewelry. This was a necklace by Camrose and Cross. The brand kind of like made jewelry that looked like pieces that Jacqueline Kennedy actually wore. The jewelry came with a little piece of paper that said, you know, where she wore this specific piece of jewelry. I mean, obviously it wasn't, you know, hers or anything like that, but the brand just makes kind of like, I guess, reproduction type of pieces. So that sold for $49.99. I'm pretty sure I still have a few Camrose and Cross pieces listed. But I got those at a yard sale over the summer. I sold a set of 2 vintage Spuds MacKenzie. These were just plastic cups with handles. These came in like a box lot that I won at the auction. Basically, you know, I didn't want them. They were just included with the other stuff that I won. Decided to list them up, and they did sell for $12.99. I do have another Spuds MacKenzie. It's a very large glass, and that one's just not going anywhere. So, but these ones sold, so that's awesome. Next we have a vintage 1986 pack of Ducktales stickers. Those sold for $9.99. I love picking up vintage, just basically anything, stationery, toys, that kind of thing. Anything that, you know, reminds me of my childhood. So I probably got that at a yard sale for like $0.25. Next was a small little pewter owl figure that sold for $16.50. At one point I had won a bunch of owl figures and figurines at an auction, and I still have quite a few owls that are listed. Some of them have sold, and some of them I'm still trying to sell. I got another fairy lamp. This one is by Ellie Smith. It was amber colored in the Moon and Stars print. That sold for $29.99. Okay, our next item was an Affliction thermal shirt that sold for $29.99. I got this at a yard sale over this, I think it was this past summer. It might have been the summer before that. I had gone to a yard sale and I picked up a bunch of Affliction items. Most of it all sold. I don't know how many more pieces I have left. I feel like it's not a whole lot. I got another Department 56 ornament. This one was of a pumpkin cat that sold for $29.99. This next item was from 1994. It was by the company Ertl, and it was a jibber jabber. Some of you guys might recognize him. When you shake him, he made that burp, 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 burp noise. I don't know, like that was nothing. That was nothing like the noise that it actually makes. But yeah, they're called jibber jabbers. They were pretty popular back then. That sold for $39.99, and I did win that at an auction. Next was an interesting sale. I sold 2 bottles of vintage Head & Shoulders shampoo for $49.99. I got these at a yard sale, and I'm pretty sure I paid $1 a piece, so $2 altogether. I figured they might go to like a movie prop department or something like that, but when I looked up the address, it was just a residential address, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe someone just really loved that original formula. Next we have a Fenton Victorian shoe that sold for $19.99, and that I won at an auction when I won all the fairy lamps. I just had won bunches of fairy lamps and a lot of Fenton pieces. Okay, we got another vintage Ertl toy. This one was called a Bumble Ball, and when you turned it on, it like would shake around and it played like the music to Wipeout. Like, it was a really fun toy. Again, those were popular back in the 90s. And that one sold for $49.99, and I got that at a yard sale, and I feel like I paid either $2 for it or $4 for it. I got another pewter item. This one was a letter opener for the Order of the Elks that sold for $12.99. And again, that came on like a flat that I won at an auction, where I didn't win the flat for that specific item, but I decided to list it anyway, and it sold. That did take a while to sell though. Let's see, I got a pair of shoes by Allegria. These were called track shoes. Apparently there's like something inside of it where it can count your steps, kind of like a pedometer type of thing. Those sold for $29.99, and I got those at a yard sale for $2. This next item is probably my biggest sale for this cha-ching. This was a vintage perfume by Karl Lagerfeld, and that sold for $299.99. I won that at an auction. It was on a tray of other perfumes, and I probably paid about 20 some dollars for the tray, and I sold many of the perfumes that were on that tray. There might be a couple more left that haven't sold yet, but that was the main one that I wanted off that tray because I knew how much it was worth. So that was a really nice sale there. Next we have a Pirates of the Caribbean mug. This thing was awesome. I mean, the handle looked like a dragon. It was just amazing. That sold for $14.99. That kind of surprised me. I thought maybe it would have been worth a little bit more. I did get that at a yard sale, and I probably paid $1 or $2 for it. Next item we have is a pink enamel trinket box. It was shaped like a hat. This thing was like really heavy, very nice quality. The company was something called like Le Trésor or something along those lines. I had this forever, and it finally sold, so hallelujah. $9.99, so not a whole lot, but it's out of here. Next we have another fairy lamp. This one was by Westmoreland, and it was had like an amber top and a black bottom. Absolutely beautiful, like super just screamed Halloween to me. I loved it. You know, one of those things where I was like, oh my gosh, do I want to sell this type of thing? Anyway, it did. It sold for $49.99. And again, from the auction where I won all the fairy lamps. Next item was a plush. This was a vintage roly-poly-oly plush. I got this at a yard sale. I probably paid like 50 cents for him, and he sold for $32.99. I have only ever in my life found 2 roly-poly-oly items while out and about, and both of them sold. So if I ever come across any more roly-poly-oly items, I would definitely pick them up. Another fairy lamp we have is a green Viking glass fairy lamp that sold for $39.99. I have another Department 56 Halloween ornament. This one was of a fortune teller, and she sold for $25.99. I've always wanted to go to a fortune teller. Not necessarily a fortune teller. I'd rather see a medium, but I'm just really scared that like my parents wouldn't come through or something like that, and I would just be like super disappointed. But I would absolutely love to talk to a medium just to see if, you know, my parents would come through. I would just, oh my gosh, I gotta do that at some point in my life. Anyway, next we have a vintage ET plush. Someone wanted this for their, I guess, Halloween outfit or costume. But that sold for $19.99. That did take a while to sell, but obviously someone was specifically looking for it to complete their Halloween costume. And the last thing that I have for this cha-ching is a Victoria's Secret body spray in the scent Fresh and Clean. That sold for $29.99. So that is everything for this cha-ching. Like I said, I will be possibly doing more than one Christmas only related cha-ching video. Out of everything in this specific cha-ching, it was just one non-paying buyer. Like I said, I had sold a Cinderella record around the same time as I sold, you know, the Mary Poppins one, and it did not get paid for. But as far as any issues with eBay, right now, not much is going on. Sales are doing pretty good. I mean, Christmas is almost here. So, you know, I feel like sales have been really nice. I mean, we're only, what is today? I think we're only like 3 or 4 days into December. And, you know, I'm already at a really nice point as far as profit. So, that's exciting, and I just hope that it continues through the rest of this year and obviously into the new year. I have tons of inventory still to list. I've been going to auctions very often since yard sale season is over. So, you know, I'm constantly getting inventory, but, you know, if I do end up getting a dog, that is going to take up some of my time, so I may not get out to source as often. But at this point, I have plenty of you know, inventory that still needs to be listed, so I'll be all right if, you know, I'm not out constantly sourcing type of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for this cha-ching. You guys have to let me know how sales are going for you. Any issues, you know, potentially that you are having. Let me know down in the comments. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.